What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. The World Cup is just around the corner. Teams are announcing their squads that are going to be playing. Everything's very serious in the world of rugby at the minute. People are dissecting and analysing it all, and what does it all mean, and big questions. I thought, let's break it up today by doing something a little bit more light-hearted and have a bit of fun with it. So, I'm going to do a rugby jersey tier list for the jerseys that have been announced for the 2023 World Cup. So, we've got an order S through D. I'm going to basically go through all of the teams bar one. Georgia is the only team I cannot find any evidence of what their World Cup kit is going to look like. It may well be identical to their current one that they play in, but I can't find anything to definitively say it will be the same. So there isn't Georgia in this list, but we've got everyone else. We'll go through them. I'm going to rank them from S tier to D tier based purely on their visual aesthetic and would I actually pay money for the kit. So what I've done is I've gone away, I found all the images I could from like official sites, the World Cup shop site, or from individual team sites, gone and found their home jerseys, where we could do a separate video for the alternate jerseys because there's a really cool couple of alternate shirts, but I'm sticking to just the home ones. I've tried my best to find as many actual World Cup shirts as I can from official sources. A couple of them aren't World Cup jerseys, but they've sort of announced that it will be just the exact same design, but you know, we'll just have the World Cup logo on. So I'll point those ones out when we get round to it. You guys can also have a bit of fun with this as well. I'm going to share a link to this on Twitter on this tier list. Go and do it yourselves. Test it out. See what order you put them in. Tweet it at me. Send me your own versions of your own list and stuff. Because, of course, it's a personal opinion. It's purely based on your own thoughts on what you think looks good. So I'm sure we'll all have a difference of thought about some of these kits. Also, if you're one of the people that's going to suddenly kick off because your team's kit got rated low, if I put the team's kit as low, it's because I just don't like the look of it. It's got nothing to do with the team. I don't hate your team. There's always someone who needs to jump in and do it. So we'll get started then. What I'll do is in the blank space over here, I'll put up a big image of the kits that you guys can see it in case anyone hasn't seen the kits already. And that way you'll know a little bit about what I'm talking about. So starting out then with the Argentina kit. Argentina have gone pretty safe this year. They've got, of course, that light blue and white stripes or bands or ribbons. Depends on what different people think of it when you think of shirts. I like to think of it more as stripes. This is the Argentina kit. We've seen it for a very long time. It's very safe. There's nothing particularly, you know, expressive or unusual about it. It is just what I expect to see when I think of the Argentina kit. I do like the style, though. I like they're one of the few teams that do play in like just the outward stripes, and I like that they do have the proper collar, and I think they like to incorporate it really nicely. I think Argentina's a pretty decent kit for me. But it's nothing, you know, wild or fantastic. It's not going to blow us away. I'm going to stick Argentina in the B tier for now. Of course, these can change as we move on. Maybe I'll move them up and down. Starting out, though, with Argentina, I'll put Argentina over in the B section. Moving on to Australia now. Australia, I was a little bit underwhelmed by Australia. Having seen the kits they were doing in like the Rugby Championship and earlier, they had all the sort of, you know, tribally sort of patterns and stuff on the shoulders. I really liked that design. I thought that was really cool. This one for the World Cup looks a little bit more blank. It's just sort of generic yellow. There is a little bit of a pattern on sort of the chest as it comes sort of under your pecs, but nothing really to make it stand out incredibly. I did see there was a second picture of actual players wearing the kits. Now that looks much better because they have all the sort of rubber grips and stuff on the jersey, and I think that looks quite cool. I actually think that enhances it quite a lot and it looks better on the players. The actual kit you can buy at home, this thing costs I think nearly £100 in the UK, doesn't have any of that. I would have liked to have seen them, even if you don't have the sort of rubber grips and stuff on the outside, maybe they should have incorporated the pattern of what the grips are still on the jersey so that you could have, you know, had that sort of blend in. Australia for me is looking, you know, a little bit blank. It's just sort of yellow with a little bit of pattern, nothing too crazy. I'm going to drop Australia for me, I think, down in the C tier. Moving on to Chile then, a team I don't know a great deal about. I'm trying to learn a little bit as we get close to this World Cup. They hardly got a lot of televised games. Now their kit, red and blue, fitting alongside with their crest, which is really cool with the, you know, the bluebirds. They got the blue on the sleeves, the blue on the collar. A lot of teams have incorporated their own names into the back of the collar. Chile haven't gone down with that. Umbro are the ones for this team. Now, the pattern on the front I quite like. It might hopefully be very clear to you guys on the picture on the side. But they have sort of like, I want to say almost like diamond patterns. They almost look like scales going up across the torso, but they've got that sort of feathers from the bird sort of layered into it. I think that's quite cool, and they haven't just done it generically. It's purely on the torso, and then the arms are a little bit cleaner, and I like what they've done with the collar. The collar's nice. I quite like rounded sort of collars on rugby jerseys, and they've done the pattern quite nicely. I quite like this. I've got to say, I quite like the Chilean one. I actually think I'm going to put it ahead of Argentina. I actually think I'm going to move Argentina just below, just because it's sort of maybe a little bit safe. It is just what you expect from Argentina. Chile's a bit new for me, so you know what? I'm going to put Chile slightly ahead of them in the B tier. England. Wow, England, I have to say, I was really underwhelmed by England. England have had some interesting kits in the past. This one for me is just a little bit boring. It is, it's hard to do what you can do a lot with, England. It's basically just a white kit is what you expect anyway. This is pretty much about just as a white kit as it can get. There's not really anything, anywhere on it to make it that much different. On the front of it, you do have, I don't even know what to call it, sort of like raindrops, ever so slight grey raindrops, sort of from like the abdomen area. It's not that exciting. I've preferred kits they've had in the past where they've incorporated like the little crosses and stuff over it, gives something a little bit different to the, the general sort of style of it. They have incorporated the, the cross on the collar. That's quite nice. That's a nice little detail. But of course, if you're wearing the jersey, you're never going to see that. This for me is looking a little bit more, blank. So for me, for England, nothing, too wild or amazing. I'm probably going to drop it down with C. It sort of is in line with, the Australia was kind of just a bit of boring yellow. England's just sort of just generically white. At least Australia have added a bit of the green on the collar and the edge of the sleeve and stuff. When you're spending, 85, 100, 120 pound on some of these jerseys, I don't think I just want just a generic white jersey. I don't think that would fit. So I'll put that in C alongside of Australia. Moving on to Fiji then. Now the Fiji one, again, this is kind of what you expect from Fiji, but the Fiji kit actually looks quite nice. There is 2 pictures of the Fiji one in this tier list. I didn't realize the first one I put on wasn't actually like the World Cup one. They are actually identical, but I did find this just before filming. So we've got the World Cup logo now on the one side, the Nikes, slap bang in the middle. I like the logo placements on this one. The collar is also quite nice. It's still like a top collar, but it's not over the top. It's just neat. It fits on the top with black as well. And I really do like the patterns on the, the undersides of the arms and down the sides, the black band around it. I do like this one, okay, it's a bit, blanket white, as I sort of said with the England kit in terms of just the plain on the front, but adding that little bit of patterns and stuff on the side, I do like this one a little bit more. I'd rather pay money if I was going to buy either. I'd rather pay for this one rather than the England one, considering they're just 2 white kits. Where am I going to put Fiji? I'm thinking maybe bottom of B or top of C. I'll go for B. I'll go for B for now. I'll leave that there for now, and maybe we'll switch that up a little bit later on. On to France then, the host nation, which I really thought would mean they would explode and come up with some really cool design for their jersey. I'm not an enormous fan of this one. I'm not going to lie. Just sort of two-toned blue. The front of it looks a little bit more matte, whereas the sort of on top of the shoulders and on the sleeves a bit shinier. That's kind of interesting, I guess. I've seen their warm-up kits and their training kits, and they've got, all the different colours, sliding across stuff. I think that's really cool. I much prefer that design to this sort of, standard blue thing. Now, I do understand, I think they're meant to be doing a whole thing with the entire kit in this team. I think it's meant to be like a blue jersey, white shorts and red socks. I think they're trying to do the tricolor throughout the whole kit, which is fine. But we're looking at just the jersey, just on its own. So we've got, two-tone of blue, which is interesting, but not real any sort of pattern or any sort of thing to, make it really stand out. The red on the logo also making it stand out a bit. They've also got a slightly different, sponsor to everyone else that's running with like Nike and Adidas and what have you. I'm going to put France. I think I'm going to put France slightly ahead of Australia. I think I'm going to drop it in that C tier. On to Ireland then. Ireland hit the memes hard. For anyone who's not seen about this Ireland kit, unfortunately I sit kind of in line with where everyone else was. I don't really like this kit. it doesn't look like the best Ireland kit I've seen. The one that they had throughout the Six Nations stuff I thought was really lovely. Quite a bold, vibrant green. This one's more like a, I don't know, like a minty coloured green. What they've done on the sleeves and the collar's quite nice. That sort of white sort of stripe pattern. I think the collar's been done quite nicely. But there's not really anything of interest. There's not even a sort of design. It's slightly two-tone with, you know, a lighter green and a darker green. But there's no even sort of basic design or pattern or anything just underlying the torso. I've seen pictures of people wearing it, like the actual models and stuff along with the players. They look quite baggy. There's a lot of background stuff to do with it. It's 100% recycled material and all this, and they're going green because it's Ireland. I like what they've done. Marketing's clever, but the actual kit itself, I'm not a big fan of this. I think I've seen better Ireland kits for me. And there's nothing even about it that I even think is like particularly amazing. Ireland for me might move all the way down here. I'm going to drop Ireland into D. I'm really not a fan of this one at all. I think they could have come up with a much better kit. I think it has the same negatives like the Australia and England, that it's all sort of just one blanket colour, but at least both of those teams incorporated something into it. This for me is, there's nothing really very much interesting in, and I can't imagine spending a big chunk of money on it. Moving on to Italy then, who've got a slightly different style, and I like this one. I like what the Italian kit's done. They've got the, I don't know what to sort of call it, the sort of the sort of shape of the leaf pattern makes me think of like Julius Caesar sat on on a throne with, you know, with his crown on. I like that. I think that's a cool sort of underlay pattern to have. You've got the light blue of the Italian kit. It's all different sort of shades of blue as well, because the pattern's a lighter blue. The shirt base is a darker blue. The seam is an even lighter blue. You've got your white collar edge and your white sleeves. There's a lot going on here, and I quite like this. The collar is, you know, again, a little pop collar, but it's not too intense. You've got your button down in the front. I think the Macron logo is really nicely placed as well, to be a little bit more in the center. It sort of breaks up just having a block of color down your sort of abdomen. I like the logo placements on this one. I'm a fan of this. I like the Italian kit. Where would I put it? I would certainly go above, I think I would go above Argentina. Would I go above Chile, is the question. Which one would I rather spend money on if I was going to buy it? I think I would maybe rather get the Italian kit than the Chilean one. Just personally, if I was going to be spending actual money on it. Yeah, you know what? I'm happy with that. I think Italy's going to go to the top of B. Japan then. Japan. Coming in interesting here. Japan, I believe, have put out effectively an identical kit to what we got to see at the 2019 one. Now, that's not a bad thing. I personally like the style of the Japan kit. I think it's got kind of a robotic feel to it, with the sort of cut on the insides down your sort of abdomens. The patterns on the actual red stripes as well make it a little bit more different. It breaks it up. At least we've not got another blanket of one colour like so many other teams have gone for. The colour scheme's also nice with this red and it's white. They've also got these little shades of gold in. I like the Japan kit. I actually feel like I would rate the Japan kit quite high. I feel like Japan could maybe even be A, B. The thing I'm going to mark this down on, though, is I do think it is almost not different at all from the 2019 one. So if you were going to buy the kit, if you already owned this 2019 kit, I don't really know why you're going to be picking up the 2023. So I'm going to drop it down a few points. I'm probably going to put it there. I think I'm going to go just ahead of Argentina, maybe. I do like the style of it. I feel if I was going to buy a kit, I feel like I would maybe rather pay money for the Japanese kit. But like I said, it's sort of the same. If you already own one, I can't imagine spending more money to get sort of as much of an identical kit as this one. On to Namibia then, one of the hardest pictures to try and find. No like official source has got it. They put it out on a video on their own like Twitter page, which is where I've had to grab this still from. Kind of hard to grasp what's going on for it. They've got their sort of blue colour with some nice red sort of shoulders. I don't think a lot of teams have implemented totally different colours on the shoulders before. Of course, this is the player kit, sort of like we said with the Australia one. They've got the grips down the chest. I can't confirm if they'll have that same pattern design will be on the official release that we can pick up ourselves. It's got some different things going on with some swirly patterns in the blue. It is quite hard to tell from the picture. Unfortunately, I think just the picture generally not having a clean image of it is going to hinder this one a bit. I like it. I don't think I would rather have that than a couple of these other ones. I think I would rather pick up the France kit than that. Australia, I think Australia is interesting just with the colour scheme that Australia... I'm going to move it down to towards the bottom of C. It's a little bit harsh on Namibia just because I can't get a clean image of it, but that's where I'm going to drop Namibia to. Moving on to New Zealand then, with a kit that genuinely, I didn't think this was the real kit. With the first time I saw this photo when it came up, it was a good while back, it was a few weeks back now, and I really thought, oh, this is like a generic t-shirt you can buy for the World Cup, and I really investigated it hard. It's not. This is what the kit looks like, and I have to say, I really don't like it. I'm not a fan of this at all. Out of all the critiques that I've given the other teams for having one colour, the one team you think would land the one colour would be the All Blacks. They've not really done it. You've gone for the pop collar. I actually think the collar's quite nice, and they've got slightly different shades of black, which is difficult because black's just one colour. It's more grey and black. But this is also an expensive jersey. The picture I've got on screen for you guys is £120 in the UK. That's a lot of money for one of these sort of replica jerseys. The logo position is nice. I like what they've done with the logos, that the logos are just white, so they're not sort of, pops of colour in there as well. I think that's quite nice. I've got to say, I'm not a fan of the leaf pattern design. I'm not sure if there's maybe some sort of cultural or heritage reason why they're in there. I'm not going to be basing my opinions on what they've sort of implemented into it, sort of similar to what Ireland did with having a recycle kit. I'm only going off the visuals, and I have to say, I don't like this one at all. I'm going to drop this one down with Ireland. What one I'd rather pay money for is the question. I'm going to drop it down there in D. For me personally, I don't really own a lot of stuff that's florally with, leaves or flowers or anything on. If you've ever seen any of my videos, you'll know I'm pretty much I have like t-shirts, like generic black t-shirts, most of my wardrobe. I think I would drop it down lower than that. I would maybe have to see them in a shop to know which way around I would want the Ireland and the New Zealand one, but I think New Zealand, unfortunately, is going to be dropping down into the D category for me. Portugal, though. Portugal coming in strong. Looking forward to see this team at the World Cup, and I have to say, I like this. I think this is a cool jersey. I would spend money on this. There's a lot going on here. They got the checkerboard pattern with, it looked to me originally like dice, and I didn't know what it was. I think it's meant to actually be shields, but just the faded look of them. So many different colours. It's very vibrant. It's well incorporated. The shoulders down to the arms, that darker red with the patterns in a lighter red on the chest, the checkerboard pattern, again, different shades, all the logos in yellow. I don't think we've seen that on any of the other teams. The New Zealand did it with white. They've done it with yellow. I think that's really clever. Green on the edges of the sleeves and the collars just breaks it up. I really like this kit. This is moving up for me. I think Portugal... Oh, man, I'm tempted to go S. I really like this. You know what? I'm dropping it in S. We haven't even got an A yet. I'm going to drop it in S. I think this is really cool. Out of all the jerseys from other nations, that I'm not necessarily supporting myself, this would be the jersey, I'm so far considering I would actually maybe want to pick this up for myself. Really cool. Looking forward to see this at the World Cup. On to Romania then, who've come in with something a little bit different here. So, blanket yellow, quite a like a pale yellow, kind of a weird colour to call it. All the logos in that dark blue colour, which I sort of expect. If I think of Romania, I think of yellow and blue anyway. The sleeves are cool. I like the two-tone sleeves, one red, one blue, incorporating the flag. I like that. I don't think I'm a big fan of the collar. I don't really get what's going on with the collar. It's like a looped collar, but then it just keeps coming down and like cinches to something down there. I'm not a fan of that bit. I'm not a big fan of that generally as a collar, but the actual kit visually, I do quite like the look of. I think they've incorporated the color schemes quite well. Collar for me, though, is throwing off a bit. And again, as I've said with some of the other kits, from that Macron logo down, as far as I can look and intensely as I look at it, just looks like a single block of color, nothing interesting, no other patterns. Again, I think if you take that pattern from the arm and you just have a slightly darker color yellow and you add that around the abdomen, oh man, I think this could have elevated it a little bit further. So for me, I'm going to drop Romania. I would probably drop Romania just below Japan. I think I'm going to drop it in there sort of in that middle B tier. I think it's a cool jersey. The collar kind of ruins it. I don't think I would necessarily want to buy it based on that collar. I'd maybe want to try one on, see how that fits me, because I'm not really sure about how that organised. But a cool kit. I don't mind that one at all. On to Samoa then, who've come in with an interesting design. They've certainly mixed this one up a little bit. So blue is, when you think of Samoa, they have generically quite a blue kit. The original picture that I did see for this one looked pretty boring. It was just sort of all blue, and they had sort of a white collar and edge. It was sort of like what they did with the Italian kit, but without anything of the interesting patterns and stuff. But they've had this second image now on the official store that you can actually buy them from, and it does look a little bit different. It actually looks kind of more like a purpley blue almost, as opposed to just a generic blue. Elements of a nice highlighted blue on the shoulder pads and right down near the sides, which is nice. That sort of breaks with that color pattern a bit. I do like the collar for this one, ending in like a point, but having the white to break up the collar and then the seams that go down across your shoulders. I think that's a really nice design at the top. The logo, having that Samoa logo in color, is a nice little pop as well. Slightly takes it away from the blue. Again, unfortunately, based on the image, I can't see anything going on with the abdomen. There's nothing particularly interesting about it. It's a nice kit. They've got some nice touches in there. I don't think I would maybe pick up this kit just as it looks at the minute. I would certainly drop it below Fiji. Or maybe I'm looking lower here. Would I rather have the France kit or the Samoa kit? I think I would rather have France. I think I might even rather have Australia as well. The Namibia one's tough to decide. I think I'm going to drop it middle of the C tier for me. Not quite enough to make it stand out. Moving on to Scotland then, who've come in with quite a strong contender. I like what they've done here. I think, as far as I'm aware, we've seen basically this kit in the warm-up games. I think it's the same kit, but this is now the one with the actual World Cup logo on. I always enjoy seeing all the different Scotland kits. It's a bit of a shame for me they got rid of the collar. I used to really like the Scotland collar with the tartan on the inside. They've gone for a more, sort of loose-fitting collar that's just, a rounded collar ending in a point. I still like the point. I think it works really well with the Macron logo as well, because the collar ends in a point and the Macron logo is like an arrowhead pointing in the same direction. They've still kept that sort of purple and green on the sleeves with the white, and then the tartan down the sides. I like this kit. I think it's nice. Again, it could have added something, I think, on the front of it, but I think the design on the sides breaks it up enough, and you've got that light colour on the Scottish flag on the actual sleeve. I think that breaks it up nicely. I like this kit. Would I rather have the Scotland kit or the Italy kit? I think I would rather have the Scotland kit. I actually quite like this one. Even though I feel like it fits some of the other critiques that I've given some of the other kits about being blanket, I think the sides really elevate this quite a lot. I think I'm going to I kind of want to put them with the same thing. I feel like maybe I should upgrade Italy to an A, because I feel like it's beginning to separate out a bit. I'm going to put Scotland in an A, and I'm going to move Italy up to the A with them, but just below Scotland. I think I would rather pick up that Scotland kit than the Italian one. On to the Springboks then. Now, when I saw this kit, oh boy, this was a really cool contender. Someone spent a lot of time designing this. Now, we've seen this kit. I think it was even incorporated into the Rugby Championship, but in the warm-up games, we're certainly going to be seeing this as well now. This design is really cool. As far as I'm aware, it's the exact same kit that is being played for the World Cup, just, of course, they happen to drop the logos and stuff. In the image I've got, of course, we've also got those rubber padding sort of across the pecs there, which obviously probably won't be on the official kit that you can buy yourselves. But just generally across the board, this is such a strong kit. I think this looks really cool. The way you incorporate the green and the yellow that you would expect to see with the Springbok kit anyway. But the stripes on the green to make it almost look like a rugby pitch. Very clever. I really like this. The collar's also yellow. They haven't gone for just their team name in the back of the collar either. They've actually got a bit of a slogan with Stronger Forever. They've got that lovely little sort of pattern design on the inside of the collar. Very subtle, but a totally, different way of doing a collar. I think is really nice. This is a strong kit for me. I'm going to put the Springboks up in... I would certainly rather pick up the Springboks kit than Scotland or Italy. Oh man, it's very close between Portugal and the Springboks. I think Portugal's got a very strong kit. I like both of these kits for different reasons, but to about the same amount. That's really tricky for me. I'm I'm going to leave it that way around for now, but I certainly think the South African kit is a lovely, lovely looking kit for this World Cup. Coming towards the end then, we have Tonga coming in here, who again, I think came in with a pretty strong kit. Now again, a lot of the images a lot of people have seen originally was a very cool looking one. They had a slightly darker shade of red. It was obviously a bit more of a marketing campaign. It's come from the official jerseys again. It's got those rubber grips down your sort of abdomen, which I don't think would come out on the official jersey that you'd be able to get. This is the one you'd actually be able to pick up now, but I do like the design of this jersey. Again, this is what so many other teams could have done. They've got that generic red front, but they've got that pattern included, which I think looks really nice. Kind of like a diamond with sort of mirrored effects going all the way down it, leading towards fading out to nothing. So you've still got your block of red at the bottom, but they're so minimal that the rest of it looks patterned. I think that looks really cool. A bit of a darker burgundy on the shoulders. I like that. The collar's quite interesting as well. Bit of more of a looping collar. I actually don't think we've seen that on any of the other jerseys, where it sort of rounds out, but the design of the collar loops round to the bottom, as opposed to like the Romania one that was just a straight line. I think this is a cool jersey, and I would certainly look to actually maybe pick this one up myself. I think this is very nice. I think I'm going to put Tonga certainly towards the top of A. I'm wondering whether I would drop this into S. I think this is a cool looking jersey. I think I'm going to drop Tonga into the very top of A. I really like this design. I think it's not quite hit the marks of the Portugal and the Springbok one for me. But yeah, absolutely a very cool design. On to Uruguay then, who's, a kit that you expect to see in the light blue. Again, this is a marketing picture. I couldn't get anything from any of the actual World Cup pages. This came from their own Twitter page, so a little bit harder to sort of grasp and have a look at. But light blue, they've incorporated the suns, which is a really interesting sort of graphic to have on it across the abdomen. It's a little bit blank as sort of one colour, as I've sort of said with some of the other ones, with just the generic blue kit going across the rest. I do like they've added a pattern onto the abdomen. In terms of the logos and stuff, yeah, they got the World Cup in colour. They've got the Uruguay logo in white and blue. Now, I know the alternate jersey for this one is also yellow. I think it might have been cool to have added the yellow into this and sort of join them up together. One area that I really don't like about this kit, the collar. Don't like what's going on here. I don't quite even understand what I'm looking at. It's sort of like a raised pop collar, but doesn't even sit flush. And these guys, they're rugby players, all right? They got bigger traps than most of us are going to have, and they don't even look like they fit on those guys' shoulders. So I feel like you put that on my sort of little chicken neck, I feel like that's really going to hang off me. It wouldn't work very well. I don't like that it sort of ends almost at like their collarbone and then shuts sort of flush horizontally. I'm not a big fan of that collar. The design of it's quite nice overall, but that collar for me, really dropping it down a few tiers for me. I would rather have the Fiji kit than it. I would probably rather have France, Australia. Oh, we're dropping down a little bit here. It's a little bit more unusual. I feel like this got a slightly better just overall, pattern design on it. Maybe I would rather pick up Samoa. Namibia's a tough one. I really don't like that collar, I have to say. You know what? No, I'm going to drop it to bottom of C. I know the England one I sort of said was a little bit generic, that it was just white, but at least it's, I think, a well-designed shirt. I feel like it would fit your body quite well. I don't like that Uruguay collar at all, so that one's going to drop it down for me a few points. And then finally, moving on to Wales. S tier, straight up. No, that's we're not showing favouritism. We're going to do it. The Wales kit for me this year, I've got to say, I don't like this one as much as the 2019 one. I really liked in 2019 they had that sort of shield pattern that was across the front of it, and I quite liked the way they did that on the front. I thought it made it look interesting. We got to see this again. I think this is the same kit we're seeing in the warm-up games now. It's a red kit. It's for Wales. Again, it's a little bit boring that it's just generically red. They've got the darker sort of burgundy red down the sides, which is fine, but I feel like there could maybe be, better colours to incorporate that. You've got, the Welsh flag, red, white and green. You've got your red and your white. There isn't really any green incorporated into this anywhere. Right down on the sort of back, on your lower back, sort of going down towards your butt, you've got they've actually got the national anthem written in words around the back. Now, that's a cool addition to it. That makes the back of it a little bit more interesting for me. I like the collar design. The collar design's quite nice as a pop collar. And again, sort of buttoned in front. I feel like the Wales kit's sort of very safe, stylish, if that makes sense. But it's not particularly, outrageous, interesting compared to something like, the Tonga kit or the Portugal kit. It's two other red kits. I don't think it stands out quite as much as that. So Wales for me, where would it go? Again, I've got to try and avoid my own bias here. As a Wales supporter, I'm like, would I rather buy it then? Of course I'd rather buy it than a couple of other kits. But actually, in terms of just your visual look, I think the Romania one's a little bit more interesting, actually. I do feel I would rather have this than the France kit. The Fiji kit and Argentina kit are sort of in the same world as the Wales kit, okay? They're a bit generic, they're a little bit safe. It is what you expect to sort of see. And the actual style and fit of the jersey is very similar to the way the Argentinian kit is with the collar and what have you. I'm going to move it ever so slightly ahead of Argentina, just in terms of its visual looks and the way they've added a bit more colour. It isn't just a generic red shirt, at least they've got something a bit different, whereas the Argentinian shirt is just that striped blue and white, which you come to expect. So yeah, I'm going to drop Wales sort of there into the mid-seas. So there we have it, guys. That is all of the kits on my tier list in the order. So I guess for me, it's the Portugal and Springboks looks like the best to me. I really don't know which one of those two I actually prefer. I feel like if I was going to pick up two kits for it, it would absolutely be both of those two. I like what they did with the A tier list. I think they're really nice. Some of the other kits are a little bit just sort of boring with just the sort of one colour as it was going across. And then Ireland and New Zealand for me, two massive nations going into this World Cup, could be World Cup champions by the end of it. Just the general design for me, not looking too impressive. I guess Ireland I've been a bit harsh on because I've actually seen the photos and stuff of people wearing them and they haven't looked very brilliant. And then the overall design of that New Zealand one, such a shame. I really expected a really strong New Zealand kit. I'm not a big fan of the sort of pattern they added onto that. But there we have it, guys. That's going to be my tier list for the rugby jersey. Like I said at the start of the video, I am going to put this one up on Twitter so that you guys can go on to the Mad Dragon Twitter. You can go in, you can do your own tier list, take a screenshot, send it to me on Twitter, just tag me in something on Twitter, write a tweet or something, and that way you can all show off your own tier list, which one impresses you guys the most. I'm sure, of course, there'll be loads of different kits, but you can let me know down in the comments which ones you would swap around. Don't just make it whatever team you support gets to be the highest. Go actually off visually and which one would you be happy to spend your hard-earned cash on. I hope you enjoyed this one today, guys. Something slightly a little bit different, a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more fun. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop it a like. If you want to see me do one of these for the away kits or the alternate kits, drop it down in the comments, because some of the alternate kits actually would really mix up this tier list. I can tell you that. I've seen a couple of them before filming this video. Some of them look really, really cool, so some of them definitely would have a bit of a mix up. But let me know down in the comments if you want to see that one. I'll see you all next time, guys. Bye-bye.